Almost there. And we are live. Hello, everyone. Now, are you someone who uh, opened your business so that you could give yourself a job? Or did you open your business because you wanted to have freedom? I know that I did. I wanted freedom, uh, mostly freedom with my time, and I wanted to have the freedom of being able to do things my way. Now, I'm very blessed in that I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. I, uh, my mom, my dad, my aunt, everybody has kind of an entrepreneurial spirit. And so I learned early on how to run a business. But most women coaches were not given that. And many women coaches are running businesses that function like a very highly demanding job, except that job has no paid time off, no salary floor, no kind of performance review, and no one to complain to about the working conditions. Because look, let's face it, we're the ones who created the conditions that we're in. And this is why I love being an entrepreneur, and because it's a lot of responsibility. And, I did it my way. Yes, I did. And sometimes my way is the hard way. So a lot of women are working hard and they're doing a great job of serving well, and they're waiting for their business to reward them in proportion to the effort that they are putting out. But when does that come? Eventually it will, right? Isn't that what we're hoping for? It's not because you're not putting in enough effort, and it's not really because you're lazy, or you're not doing things right. It's just that there's a ceiling that is limited very often by our own mind. So there's a difference between a CEO and an employee. And today on the Spiritual Business Hour, we are going to be talking about that. I am very excited because I have for you I have four incredible guests, and I want to introduce them to you now. First up, I have Liz Rankin. She's a women's decision and business coach. We have Lee Forrester. She's a life strategy coach. We have Allison Stillman. She's the alchemist of soul remembrance. And we have Renee Amberise, and she is a body identity shift coach. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah, me
You
too. I'm
so
so
much.
excited to have you. Yay. Yay. So I want to get us started off by jumping into some questions. I know my people are excited to hear you. I know your people are excited to hear you. So here's a question that might trigger you. When did you first realize you were running your business like an employee rather than like an owner?
Ooh.
Who wants to answer that? Who wants to take that one on?
Yeah, I'll start.
Go for it, Liz.
Yeah, a little bit background about me. I grew up, my father worked at his job. My mother was always an entrepreneur, so I saw that from her angle. And then I saw my dad pick up all these side hustles, but overall, I grew up in a generation where they said you'll go to school, you'll get your degree, and then you'll do what everybody else is doing and get a full-time job and live this stable life. And when you convert that into a business and you're running it yourself, it's definitely way different than being an employee. When you're at a job and you're working the 9 to 5, you have someone to tell you what to do and when to do it. And then you also have someone to teach you along the way. If you're not doing something right, they'll come in and they'll show you how to make things happen, right? Sometimes they give you like a 90 or 100-day plan to fall into place, right? To fall into the right position, the workload that you're supposed to do. When you
Yeah.
start a business, you don't have any of that. So for me, I realized that pretty early on, because if anything, I realized I needed to surround myself with other people that were living their dream life, running their own business, and not trying to figure it out myself. So right off the bat, I started hiring coaches, mentors who had already walked the path that I was learning to walk. And that's similar to having a boss or someone to train you at a 9 to 5. You need to invest into somebody to mentor, to coach you, to figure out how to run a business. Because I believe as women, we all have our passion, our purpose, the thing that lights us up, the thing that we'll spend a million hours on, right? Like I am a decision coach. So I love, and I could spend all day learning about how women think and what are the decisions that hold them back. I will spend eternity on that. But there's a certain format and structure to running a business that a coach and a mentor will show you how to apply that to your system. So for me, it was pretty early on that I realized like I am not getting to where I need to be. I love what I do, but what is the structure? What is the framework around actually making this a full-time thing?
I love that so much. And I'm so happy that it came to you faster. Even though I had a huge like family that knew entrepreneurship, the problem with my family is they also worked in the same way I did. You know, they did have other people working for them, but they also worked in the same way that I did for a really long time. But let me hear from somebody else. Does anybody else want to take this on? Go ahead, Renee. When did you first learn that you were running your business like an employee rather than a CEO?
I mean, it's always interesting how we are starting the journey. And the family background I have, so my mother was a teacher, so she was working for the government. So that was pretty safe. So everything was just like everything on time. And there was just like no question mark if money is coming or not. Same for my father. So when I decided in 2010, and I was working in a corporate world like 15 years, so I was a leader, I was having a huge amount of just like income. And I decided, no, I want to just like go a different road. And I had to understand and to learn the first time, my first client, I was working just like 5 hours. And I had really to understand how to charge then is a total different thing you have to hold in the body. And then it's all about how much you think you are worth. And so many programs and conditions are coming up. And this is why I'm today saying your body is your best friend. And you will learn where you have to grow and to expand, because this is what I'm all about. We have to take the body with on the journey, that we are able to hold more money and even make the right decisions.
Wow, that is very, very powerful. Thank you for that, because holding it in your body, that when you said that, I'm like, ooh. You have to get your body ready for that vibration of charging whatever it is that you feel like you should be charging, and we're not all ready for that. We don't just step into that. It's not a given.
It will show up in your voice. It will show up in your throat, and this is where the body is never lying to you. So this is why this is your best friend. And I was just like, I was coming from this high paid corporate job. And then I was working just like 5 hours, and I was just like, can I charge 50? And I was just like, I was giving extra and extra and extra because so, and then things are really coming to the service. So that was an eye-opening idea, because I was like, even like a cleaning lady is getting more money. So what I'm doing. So that's really, and this is what we have to ask ourselves when we set up even the price points. So I know that it's one of the targets on this call. So putting this a little bit earlier, but yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Renee. And Allison, do you want to chime in on this while we're here, while we're on this topic?
I do. So I have had my own businesses since my early 20s, and I took a little sideline journey about 25 years ago, I went to work for a friend of mine who was starting a company that sold internet technology to large corporations and law firms. And I was the director of marketing. And I formed incredible relationships. That was my whole thing, is like, okay, I need to find out who these people are. I need to connect to them through the heart and build relationship that way. And so I built an incredible network of associates, business associates, and in the legal industry, that's not always an easy thing to do in the technology world. And we actually, the CEO made a decision to take in a large chunk of money from an investment bank. And the investment banker kind of took the reins of the company. And she shadowed me for a couple of months, and she brought me into her office one day and she said, I see that you've built all these incredible relationships and everybody loves you. And I'm here to tell you that from now on, it's going to be about the bottom line. It's not going to be about relationship. And I need to know that you're in 150% to that. And that was on a Friday afternoon. And I said, let me get back to you on that. I've got to get home for the weekend. And so I drove away from work going, it's done. It's over. You cannot go back to that. That is never going to be your motto. And so I walked in on Monday and I gave my 2-week notice, and I told her, I said, I will never be about the bottom line. I will always be about finding the heart in everyone that I communicate with. And that is my modus operandi, is to lead from the heart and lead with love. And so that changed my trajectory enormously, because I discovered what my real purpose is in work. It's not about money. It's about relationship and who can I serve and whose life can I make better. So.
Wow. I love that story so much. That is kind of the quintessential badass story. Like, hey, I want you to not be your heart-centered self. I want you to be unreal, inauthentic, and do it for the money.
Yeah.
Right?
Not going to happen on my watch.
Right on. I totally hear you on that. And that's a beautiful story. So let me ask you all something now, maybe a little bit deeper. So what was the most expensive employee behavior that you see women coaches kind of carrying into their business? And I'm going to just kind of start us off, because we were just talking about this yesterday, and for me personally, I like to use myself as examples. It was not having boundaries about where work begins and where work ends. So that was an employee mentality that I had, which was why everybody liked me working for them, because I would deliver and I would not stop until the work was done at a really high standard. And, when I went into my business, I thought, oh, that's a great quality to bring into my business. And it is. On one hand, my team members, my clients all love that I work at a very high level of delivery. But for Crystalline's own sanity, it's not actually all that good. Well, it's not good at all, because what goes out the window when I do that, my gym goes out the window, my flirtation and playfulness with life goes out the window, my meditation goes out the window, my quality time with my dog goes out the window, my quality time with family and friends go out the window, like even my sexual desire goes out the window. Why? Because we ain't got time for that. Because work is eating up all of my brain space, my bandwidth, my creativity. It's like being married. So for me, the most expensive behavior is not what it costs me in dollars and cents, because my bottom line is not affected by that, but it's the emotional price that I pay. And my heart can't function when I don't have that love, that playfulness, time with my family, time with my dog, time at the gym. So for me, that's the key. Anybody else want to take this on?
I'll add something to that because that resonates with a guiding light for myself, and that is, how can I offer the most profound experience or transformation for my clients if I'm not functioning at my fullest potential? And in order to do that, in order to vibrate at the highest possible frequency and be so tuned in, I have to be filled up. I have to be completely centered in myself so that I emanate and just radiate love and transformation and healing and power and positivity, so that everyone I work with gets to experience that. And I can't do it if I'm not full. And so I have to fill myself up first.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Allison.
Yeah, I totally agree with you both. I realize that one of the behaviors that I'm even guilty of was thinking I would need to pour in a lot of time. And I think that was the behavior, but a lot of it was the mindset. The mindset was I need to work hours around the clock. And you do to a point to be able to get your business off the ground. But once you start implementing things and having the right strategy, then things fall into place. So for instance, like I was actually thinking about this at the gym this morning because I got in and out in 45 minutes and I lift like the heaviest weight that I've lifted thus far. And I was like, wow, okay, that months ago, I would sign up for classes and I would do 1 or 2, and that's 2 hours in the gym. And I'm like, what am I accomplishing in that 2 hours that really I can't accomplish in that 45 minutes? Because if you have a longer time frame that you're putting in, especially at the gym, you're not working that hard. You cannot possibly go 3 hours in the gym and like really push, right? And then I related that to my business, coincidentally. I was like, wait a second. Instead of like saying I'm blocking out 12 to 3 to work on the business, what if I crunch that down to 45 minutes or an hour? Like, what are the big things that, like the one domino, right? What is the one domino that I need to knock down within this 45 minutes that makes all of the other dominoes knock down? And that will make my business continue to drive forward, even though I'm not putting in the whole 3 hours, but that 45 minutes. So I think for me, the behavior is thinking that I need to spread out and work so many hours on the business. Whereas as you work in it and as you continue to improve processes, you realize you can get a lot done in a shorter amount of time.
I really love that because number one, I love the domino analogy. That totally makes sense. And I also feel a little bit of like, oh, I'm not doing that. That's for sure. So we'll have to talk more about that. Does anybody else want to answer this question or chime in on it? And Lee, I know that you are having a little bit of technical difficulty, but the question was, what is the most expensive employee behavior you see women coaches carrying into their businesses?
So
Does anyone else want to answer that? Renee, please go ahead.
I would love to, because you will open it up so lovely, talking about the boundaries and that we have also to serve from a full cup. But how does it show up in a daily life? How can you really just like face it? And CEO time begins in the morning, in the mirror, before you go in any interaction. You have to learn to lead yourself and to reconnect with the body. Because your body will and we have to understand, as a female leader, we function totally different than the males. They just like can set the goals and they can go with a mindset, but we really have totally different opportunities. And it's about just like, we get energetically nourished the whole time when we are connecting. So, and connecting first in the morning, and this is what I'm teaching is just like you have to start in the morning before you leave the bedroom, that you're even able to set the boundaries, say no, and feel what is right, because the female intuition is coming to our body.
Mhm.
We know then if we have to go right and left, and how we make the decisions, and we have to learn to trust really this nature magic we have. That's what it's all about.
I love that.
Taking the time,
Mm.
the 5 minutes in between, to reset, to refresh, and to come really in the present moment. That is costing the most money. And what I feel like between being a self-employment or just like CEOs, this is where the shift and the total different embodiment is coming. Are we from the full cup, or just like the empty cup? And we have to understand when we are running empty, because we think we have to perform. And these are so many patterns. And this is why I love routines. You can make check marks, and then you can go after, oh, where I am on the scale. So this is where tracking is always good, that you stop the self-betray and can make the shift.
Beautiful, beautiful. Right on, right on. Lee, I want to give you a chance to chime in. We haven't had a chance to see Coach Lee yet because she's been trying to deal with the technology. So come on in, Lee. Do you want to speak to this?
Yes, and I would agree with what was just said. You really have to, I don't want to say fight for your time, but make it a priority. That first thing in the morning makes a huge difference. Just to have that time for yourself, because I know once I get going, and I'm a fast mover in the morning, it's kind of like a runaway train. And then everything else is just getting back to that quiet time or the meditation or whatever thing you do first thing in the morning to just kind of get centered. It's hard to go back to that once the momentum gets going. And it's, in the grand scheme of the whole day, we're not talking about a lot of time for yourself. Today was one of those days where I had a call at 7 a.m. my time. And I'm like, oh, how do I get my workout in? And then I had several calls. Okay, when am I going to eat? So all of these things have to be factored in so that everything else goes well. Otherwise, you're just operating on a deplenished state, which is not very fun. And then things just don't go well. I've tried it more than once. It doesn't work well. I just really set my priorities in the morning on myself, and then everything else goes fairly well as it can be. So I agree. You got to serve from a full cup. I know we say that a lot, but it really is a truism. Back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So, ladies, all right. How does the employee mentality show up in the way that a woman coach prices her services? How does it show up in the way that she prices her services? I'm going to lead this off again just because I'm going to give you all a chance to think about it. But one of the things that was very challenging in my family, I grew up in a family of dentists. My dad was a dentist. My aunt was a dentist. We had a dental office in Los Angeles, and it was huge. We had, we were seeing 20 new patients a day, 5 days a week. And, we were literally, when I was young, we were millionaires. But the way that we got to be millionaires was by discounting and by taking the responsibility off of the patients. We would accept what the insurance would pay, or we would heavily discount our prices so that people were paying less out of pocket. And so the mentality of our family's office, which our patients loved us, but the result is that the patients were not given the responsibility of the truth of what it costs for dental care. We undersold, we cut our own pricing, and we all, me, including my parents, my dad, my mom, and even my aunt, we went forward in our businesses with the attitude that discounting is the way that we stand out and get seen. Now, for me, that was a huge wound and something that I had to really work to overcome. And the way I overcame that was by truly understanding the value that I bring. I had to write out my value. I had to study my value. I had to study and kind of research what was going on in the marketplace, what other coaches were charging. But then I also had to bring it back to myself, my experience, and what I brought to the table. And honestly speaking, when I finally set my prices, it was almost like I just had to leap, because even though I saw the value that I bring people, the amount of time I save them with my programs, the amount of money they would make by working with me, all of that was not enough for my mind. I had to feel it in my body. This goes back to what Renee said earlier about like bringing your body into it, having presence. We've all spoken about that to some degree on this session. And I finally had to just plunge in and just say, you know what? I'm charging $50,000 for this. I'm not going to accept a penny less. I'm putting it in writing and I'm not backing down. And that's how I started functioning. And that's what has carried me through today. That's how I do it now, and it works.
So good. I love it. I love it. I feel a lot of what you've gone through, Crystalline, especially my parents, my mother in particular. She had a child care center in her home, and that was her business. And the way she charged was always, I didn't realize till I got older, it was like the lowest that anybody could ever charge for childcare prices. And then we were in a smaller town, so she charged what was even less. So when I got in the military and I left home and I'm seeing like how much childcare actually costs, and I do my mother's taxes. So I'm like comparing, I'm like, Mom, how can you charge like half of what these other establishments are charging? Like you could have been making a lot more money than this. And subconsciously, we don't even realize how much that affects us. Like to this day, like Crystalline, you said you had to heal. That is a serious wound that you have to heal from childhood. And even though I'm not like even thinking about it when I go to price my offers, it's in me. It's in me thinking, oh, I need to discount this because I need to be able to attract buyers. I wonder if the flip is different. Like if maybe growing up, I had worked with someone or seen maybe a high-end client, because also in my 9 to 5, I was a government employee. So we didn't exchange money, but it makes me wonder, had I worked or been raised in an establishment or business that big chunks of money was just normalized, right? Because it is who you surround yourself with. It is who you see. And if that was normal to me, it would feel so much easier to charge a higher price. But I've also healed that wound, thankfully. And it is almost like a new identity that you step into. And also the decision that you make, no, I am worthy of this higher amount. This is what I'm charging. And then practice it a couple of times. Literally put yourself on camera and say, the price of this is this, and that is that. Because the more confident you are in what you're offering, the more confident the buyer is in investing in you and what you have to offer.
That is beautifully said. And what a great idea. Like, what if you were kind of born into an environment or into a family where those larger chunks of money were normalized? And I think that personally, I've gotten myself to, I had to kind of immerse myself in luxury, and doing that in Paris, just spending time, taking myself out to really nice restaurants and, having these higher end experiences when I could, actually helped me to understand that, number one, there's a lot of money out there. Number two, my projections about how much money a person has are totally false. Like, oh, this person doesn't have enough money to afford me. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Don't be, fooled by that. And just kind of allowing myself to understand that the world really is abundant with money, even though it might be not well managed in the world by governments. Okay, that's a different issue. That doesn't mean the money doesn't exist. That means we have some issues with our governments, and that is not an issue of abundance or prosperity.
Absolutely.
Does anybody else want to take on that question? The question is, what is the most expensive uh, behavior you see women coaches carrying into their business? That's what we were answering, right? No. Yep, that's what we were answering. Yeah.
I think it was the next one about the
Oh, sorry, ladies. Thank you.
how
Thank
that's
you. That's right.
affected.
How does the employee mentality show up in the way women price their services?
Yep.
Sorry about that,
Yep.
ladies.
Yep, you're good.
Hmm. Does anybody else want to talk about the way women price their services and that employee mentality?
I think that is a real huge thing what we have to understand when it comes to the pricing point. And here, this is where you have to see who are you surrounding with yourself. When it comes to the pricing, that's one part. And to find your price that you're comfortable with. So I had to make it practical, like whatever you do, make a list and write how much money you were investing in yourself. That's specific for us women. It becomes visible because it's all about just like the worthiness. We like to spend money for others, but it wants to come the payback. We're getting just like, this is showing up in your voice, this is showing up in your face, this is showing up. Are you comfortable with your price? So make it visible how much you were investing, how much time you were investing for training what you do. See what life experience is coming on the table. So this is everything what you really you have to understand who you really are and what you bring on
Excellent.
the table. So
Excellent.
that's, and the price is really, you have to learn to hold it. Money is energy. Let this sink in. Money is energy.
Mhm.
You have to learn to hold the energy, and this is where your body is your vessel. Really to take the number and just like, yeah, I like the idea, train it with a camera or just like in front of the mirror. The mirror work, and I love to do so much because this is where you then see what is acting. Are you still smiling or where is coming the tension? So, and play with your voice. Your
Mhm.
voice is your sound in the universe. It's your uniqueness. And people feel and see things. And this is where the next level is, you have to shift and you have to let go.
Mm.
Old things and pay attention to what is coming up, why this is not possible, and write it down. Really, this is all about facing it and feeling it and then letting go.
Beautiful. Love it. Yes. Yes. Does anyone else want to speak to the pricing? All right. Well, then let's take a look. Sorry, did somebody say yes?
Yes, I did.
Go ahead, Allison.
Okay. So I think Liz kind of mentioned it too, of the price point is your worthiness. How worthy do you feel of receiving abundance? And if you start to really look at, what was just said too about money is energy. It's so overflowing out in the world. It's the same as the air that we breathe. There's no shortage of it. And the only thing that constricts the flow of the energy to you or the abundance to you is you. It's the contraction that you go into when you think, oh, well, is my program good enough? Oh, am I good enough? Do I have enough experience? Do I have enough wisdom? And we all come in as these pure divine beings here to have a human experience. So how could we not be worthy? And it's, what you all have been saying too, of we bought into these programs as we were growing up, and we were taking on other people's belief systems and growing out of that and letting go of those old beliefs and remembering. I think it's back to that, remembering the truth of who you are as this divine being in the feminine form. Of course you're worthy. Of course you are. And everyone here that's at this round table, we all have decades and decades of experience and can speak from that experience. That's worth gold. That is just worth gold.
Wow. I love how we've got a variety of understanding around the CEO mentality and the employee mentality. And I think that the employee mentality is limited because we have to rely, our paycheck is conditional as an employee. Our paycheck is conditional based on whether our employer wants to employ us and whether we do the things that are outlined in our job description. And I think that that's kind of, that's definitely how I was raised as a kid. Like, Crystalline, you need to be a good employee. You need to, show up on time to work. You need to do everything at the highest level so that you can get promoted or get the raise or get whatever it is that you're going to do. You have to do all these things. Otherwise, you may not get a job. You may lose your job, or you won't get the promotion. And I just feel like when we made the decision to work for ourselves, we stepped into a new identity. At least we should have stepped into a new identity, which says that I am the generator of my income. Before, the job was the generator, the staff was the generator, the office, whether it's, some corporation or, something smaller. But, stepping out of that and understanding that generation of money doesn't come from what, your output of hours. It's not hourly any longer. It is now based on what you feel in your heart. It's your passion that generates your money, and it's the things that follow from that passion. So if I have the passion in my heart and I want to write a book, then the work that I do is about getting the book written and building the funnel for the book and building the system to get the book out to the public. But it has to originate in passion and love and creativity. And I think that's what we're all kind of saying on this call.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So here's the next question. What does a woman actually have to give up when she steps into the CEO identity, right? What does she have to give up when she steps into the CEO identity? Go, Renee.
It's pretty simple. She stops to perform and steps in the identity. I know who I am. And this is speaking without words.
Yeah, for sure.
This is being seen without performing. Take a deep breath and feel it.
Absolutely. That is gorgeous, man. And understanding who that identity is. I mean, you may not know that until you start living into it.
No, you know it. You are not questioning yourself. This is a huge thing. It's not questioning. In questioning, you can feel little tiny things. You feel it in the body. And until this is not released, you have space to just grow. And this is the way. But it feels when you know that you know, because we have this inner wisdom, we know when things are. So this is the inner knowing. This is the embodiment. And whatever, it can be a CEO, whatever, but you have to feel it from head to toe.
I would love to just follow up on that because it's just coming in. What if the CEO actually means the Chief Embodiment Officer? And what if that means we have to fully embodiment that role as the CEO?
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's just like, yeah, exactly. This is how it goes. We have to open the rooms now. This is the female thing of how we can rule the world, not by manipulating and all the stuff, because even this you can feel in the body. We really have to learn new skills.
Mm, so powerful. So powerful. I know that one of the things I had to give up when moving from the employee to the CEO mentality was this kind of reliance on other people to make decisions, right? I had to be the one to take the risks. You know, when I said, okay, here's the end of this year and the beginning of the next year, what is it that I'm going for? What is it that I want to create? What is it that I want to produce? What is it that I want to see? What experience do I want to have? So, a lot of that identity, I believe, is understanding that you are responsible for your life and you're responsible for what you create and you're responsible for for what you're calling in. And to me, that is incredibly powerful. And once I stepped into that, at first it was scary. You know, it was scary because you're kind of like, how do I spend this day? How do I do this? But then you start getting your legs, you start developing your wings. Like for me, I like the butterfly. That's my company, Badass Butterfly. And once I really understood that I am responsible and that I can take myself and my business wherever I want to go, that's when things started getting really good. Up until then, though, I was awkward. There was that awkward flying stage, but now I know exactly where I am, and embodying that is wonderfully fun. But it did take me a while to get there.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. I think for me, what is coming up is she has to let go of her excuses. As an employee, you're able to blame the boss. You're able to blame the coworkers. You are able to blame everybody and anything, leadership, management, whatever it is, you're able to blame them. When you're a CEO, the only one to blame is you. So getting rid of your excuses of being fearful to press record, to your excuses of I'm just going to hide another day. We have bills to pay. Like we can't hide. There's no more excuses that we're just going to put this off till the next day. The excuse of, oh, I will write the book tomorrow, or I will take the next step tomorrow. Like your excuses are no longer, we don't have time for that. You've got bills to pay, things to do, house note, whatever it is. Your excuses have been the reason that you're hiding, your fear of judgment, your worried what people are going to say, that you're going to test, you're going to fail, you're going to repeat it, you're going to test it, you're going to fail. Like you can't hide anymore. So the excuse of I'm so scared what people are going to think about me, which I've definitely struggled with, you can't have that anymore. The excuses have to be gone.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Does anybody else want to chime in on that? All right. So look, it's about time for us to start wrapping up. And what I'd like for us to do, I want to remind you all that we are here. We are all presenters at the Liberated Coach Summit. It's starting next week, but you can sign up now. There is a link in the comments or somewhere in this thread that you can sign up. You're going to meet all the speakers like Renee and Allison, Liz and Lee and myself. All right. But there are 15 other speakers that are a part of the summit. each speaker is going to be talking about one of the shackles that are keeping you as a woman coach from experiencing true liberation, true freedom in your business. So you'll want to sign up to join the summit. Is absolutely free. Each speaker is going to be offering you an awesome gift. I know that I am excited about all of their gifts that they are offering. I'm also very excited because each of them has given a really powerful talk. So if you sign up for the summit, you are going to have full access to all 20 of the speakers, their talks, their free gifts, and we even have a community where you can interact and get to know the speakers a little more personally as well. So thank you so much for joining. But before we sign off, I want to give each of our speakers just like 1 minute to introduce themselves in their own words, and also to maybe share with you the gifts that they are going to be offering during the Liberated Coach Summit. Would anyone like to go first and share who you are, what you know, kind of what your specialty is, and what you're going to be sharing for your gift at the summit?
Sure, I'll go.
Go ahead, Liz.
We had a test round yesterday. Let's see how we do today. So I am Liz Rankin, and I am really passionate about helping women find their gifts, the things that God gave them inside, their purpose, the things that they went through, the hard times, and turn that into a profitable business. I truly believe that she is the asset. You are the asset yourself, whether you put that into a coaching offer, a digital product, or a membership, whatever it is, you definitely have something inside of you that can turn into a profitable thing. I'm also working on my book. I'm finalizing Girl, Just Make the Damn Decision. I know a lot of women, we struggle internally with making decisions, me, myself. And so I have the book coming out, but what I'm giving away to everybody for this summit is the workbook that helps you actually take action, build momentum to make decisions, things that have been holding you back. You will be set free. The shackles are being taken off so that you can actually make those decisions and live the best, most amazing life possible.
Excellent. So excited about it. I love the title of the book. Girl, just make the damn decision. Excellent. Who would like to go next? Who's ready to introduce themselves?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Lee.
Okay. And so I'm Lee, and I help women. I'm a life strategy coach, and I help women who are maybe wanting to make that step away from one thing to the other, or sometimes they are forced to because life has gone sideways. Often things look glossy on the outside, but not so much on the inside. And one of the words that I think fits perfectly with what we've been talking about today, and if I had to narrow down what I do into just one word, that would be permission. To give yourself permission to do the things that you want to do, because in the workspace you're always waiting for permission, maybe to take the vacation, the time off, to elevate to another position within the company. But in this space, in the entrepreneur space, the CEO space, you get to give yourself permission to shine, to be your authentic self, to use your voice, to build your business, to earn what you want to earn. And in the gift I'll be giving, we're going to talk about not just what we think, but why we're overthinking it. We're just churning it around and around and around, and just take action already. And if it's not quite the right thing, we make another decision. We take another step in another direction, but to not keep overthinking the thing. If it doesn't work, business is marketing, it's trial and error. This product is not quite right. We're just testing the market always to see what's going to take, because the market changes too. It's not just everything we do now is going to work or be viable in the next 6 months or a year. People change, their needs change. And so we're allowing ourselves to be flexible enough to roll the dice and see what is needed, and be flexible enough to help our clients in that way. So talking about permission is what I'm going to get into, and back to you.
Excellent. Thank you, Lee. That sounds really good. And what about Allison or Renee? Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right.
Yes. So I am the alchemist of soul remembrance. And I have been guiding people deep into the subconscious to release those subconscious beliefs and programs that keep us playing small so that we can really move into alignment with our soul's destiny. And what I have discovered over the years, I also am a master aromatherapist, and I work to create signature heart scent fragrances for my clients, so that not only are you addressing what those core belief systems are, but you can shift those and change those, and you can really consecrate those new belief systems, especially working with essential oils. And so I'm just finishing up my next book. And my gift is a small little ebook that has some of the juicy tidbits from my bigger book that will probably be done, I'm going to say, by the end of the month. That's my goal. So thank you so much.
Excellent. I know I'm excited about it. She works with essential oils, right? So Allison is like the queen of anointing. She's brought that back, this ancient practice. So I know you all are going to love it. Everyone here and everyone on the summit is just bringing high level teachings and insights that are going to help you at the level of your mind and help you at the level of your body, but also that's going to help you at the level of your business and your money and your time. All right. All the things. So let's hear from Renee now. Renee?
So hi, I'm Renee Amaris, and what does my name mean? It means I bring hope and I bring light, and I am reminding you, you are the boss, you're the chief, no one else. So what I'm doing is I'm helping women, specific after 40, to reconnect, to come back in alignment with their body, with their face, with their voice, and with the nervous system.
Mm.
And this is showing up in your face because this is your business card. Your body is your best friend, and your message you speak without words. Okay. So, and you can reprogram everything. So, and I've been to all self betray. I'm doing the work. I call my method Yoga for Face, 4 steps to serve the daily life after self betray, after sabotage. And I'm doing this because the loss of my kids. So I'm guided from heaven. So whatever was happening in your life, your smile is your key that brings you back to paradise.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much. And my name is Crystalline Bell, and I am going to be, I'm the host of the summit. I put this whole summit together because I work with women. I'm a spiritual business mentor, and I work with a lot of coaches who really have a passion for coaching, but they don't know how to build their business. And in my humble opinion, it makes sense. You didn't go to business school, you went to get your coaching certification, and you want to help people, but learning how to run a business really takes a lot of energy and effort and focus, and it can pull you away from the joy that you have in being a coach, being a healer. And I wanted to bring you back into the pleasure of coaching. And that's what this summit is about. All of the speakers on the summit are determined to help you find that pleasure in coaching by helping you manage some aspect of your business. Now, during the summit, my free gift to you is the 5 Shackles quiz. It is a quiz that helps you understand where you are and where you are shackled somewhere in your coaching business, whether the shackle is around your mind, your time, your business, your money, or your pleasure. And so you take the quiz, and there's a beautiful guidebook that goes along with that. And I'm happy to be offering that to you for those of you who join the summit. So right now we are going to go ahead and wrap up our spiritual business hour session for today. I want to thank you all for joining me. Thank you, ladies, for bringing your beautiful selves and your wisdom.
Thank you for inviting us. Yes.
Absolutely. And some of you all are going to join me on other days. That's great. You all are more than welcome to join me here every day, because it's really about these conversations that we're having and diving deeper into these topics. I find these topics to be absolutely fascinating. Looking at the employee mentality versus the CEO mentality, for me, that's where the richness is. That's where the transformation is, doing this kind of work. So thank you so much, ladies. Thanks so much for watching. Please remember to react and leave a comment and share this video, please. Thank you so much, friends. We're going to go ahead and sign off. Bye for now.
Bye.